Hey. Welcome back to another episode of the Sky Society podcast. Today, I am chatting with Samantha Mason. She is the brand marketing manager at Erewhon, as well as does some really exciting fun ventures on the side, such as Hype Girl Club and I Want to Pick Your Brain. So I'm very excited to dive into all of that today with you. So welcome, Samantha.
Thank you so much, Natalie, for that stellar intro. I'm so excited to learn more about what you're up to and tell you and share a bit more about my experience.
Yes, Samantha is a queen in all things, I want to
Mhm.
say events and community. She's doing that with Erewhon and also with Hype Pro Club, which we'll talk about both. So we're going to jump into her whole career journey today as to how to where she got where she is now. But before we do all of that, Samantha, can you tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Of course. So I'm currently living in Los Angeles. Love LA so much. I grew up in Arizona and I went to University of Arizona in Tucson, graduated in 2016, and I studied family studies and human development, which basically studies just human behavior, which I absolutely love, and it's really relatable to any field. And here I am into marketing and events. So I moved to LA about 2.5 years ago. I'm currently with Erewhon as the brand partnerships manager. I started on the social team and I've also created a couple other ventures on the side. So here we are, like you mentioned, Hype Girl Club, and then also a live panel series called I Want to Pick Your Brain.
How exciting. Also, I always think it's interesting to look back at someone's
Yeah,
degree into where their job is now.
exactly. Yeah.
So very
You
interesting.
never know. You never know where life will take you, honestly.
You really don't. And I also
Yeah.
love that you don't have a traditional marketing background because I think there's some girls that maybe didn't realize they wanted to be in marketing until later on. But you're proof that you absolutely can still do that, regardless of what your background
Yep,
is.
exactly, for sure.
So, can you tell me a little bit about how you got into this space from studying behavioral sciences to then going into event or social media marketing?
Of course. So back in Arizona after college, I did a bit of traveling. I went on a volunteer trip abroad in Thailand, and it was my first time really experiencing other cultures and traveling abroad. I didn't study abroad during college. So if you haven't yet, if you're going through college or even if you're just graduating, you still have time. So don't let that hold you back from traveling and exploring. And then after I did a couple years of traveling, I was in Arizona planning wellness events. So finding instructors in the valley, yoga instructors, HIIT instructors, and curating events for up to 50 people every week. So that really kickstarted my event experience and also was starting to do all the content for it, social, and then also managing the event on site. So that's really where I learned to start to create my own events. Then from there, I just really loved community so much, and wellness is right on my heart. I live for wellness, and I feel like there's so much happening in wellness. Whether it's new events or breath work now is huge. That's what's so fun about it, especially now being in LA. We're around it everywhere. So from there, I was interviewing. I knew I wanted to be back in LA. But after college, I came to LA for a summer and I had an internship with Who What Wear, which is a fashion company. And at that time, blogging was huge. Bloggers were called bloggers at the time, and now they're creators and influencers. So that's what really kickstarted my LA experience. I was a marketing intern, so really studied all the different bloggers. Skinny Confidential, she was popping off. That was when she was really setting the standard, I feel like, for wellness and blogging. And then so that was in West Hollywood, so really got experience in LA. And then from there I moved back to Arizona, and 2.5 years ago I just knew I wanted to move back to LA. So I started the process of interviewing. I was interviewing with some amazing, very well-known wellness companies. in LA. Poosh was one of them. And then I ended up with an experiential marketing agency. And I moved back to LA. So that's kind of what kickstarted my experience.
That is such an incredible start to your career. Who, what, where? Yeah, who, what,
Mhm.
where. I always confuse them. In Austin, there's this Instagram account called
Yeah,
Who,
we
What,
were,
When.
yeah,
Yeah, or something like that. I always
yeah,
get them
very
mixed up.
similar. Yep.
But that's such a fun start to your career and kind of getting exposure to this place. It
Mhm.
looks like you kind of were going between Arizona and then back to LA and then Arizona and back to LA. What about LA like really drew you to it? And then also when you're interviewing for these wellness companies, was there a lot of competition in that space?
Yeah, I think definitely what to really prepare for, say it was like your dream company or whatever that might have looked like. It's really doing your research. Like that's what's super important. See what they're up to on LinkedIn, see their past, do like a little bit of stalking of their current employees, their current campaigns, and really, really study and learn so you can feel confident to prep for your interview. And even just practicing with friends is always like really important to get past that fear or anxiety of, am I going to say the right thing? And just really rehearsing, and then also just realizing that you're just speaking with another human. Like it seems really intimidating, and it can be, especially if it's a huge company that's in LA or at a larger city too. It's just really rehearsing, doing your research, and just being confident in yourself. Will really land you the job that you're meant to have. So I think with being in LA, a lot of my friends were in LA from U of A, and I just knew what I wanted to do in events and marketing and community. And of course, wellness, like that's LA, and I love the beach too. So I think that's was an easy decision for me.
Yes, LA, I always keep thinking about it. I told you before the episode, I went to school in San Diego, so I have like San Diego is a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
But I know in LA I'm sure there's just so many more opportunities within that area of
Yeah,
experiential marketing and especially in the wellness space.
exactly. Exactly. And it was like this
Uh,
feeling that I just knew, I'm like, I know there's something bigger that I want to do. And I kind of
Mhm.
just trusted myself, trusted that instinct. And in 2.5 years, I went from working with the experiential marketing agency. I learned so much. I feel during an agency, it can be a lot of crazy work, but you learn so much, especially so fast. So you make amazing connections. You're learning everything from influencer marketing, seeding, event production to just, social. So you learn so much. And I feel like that's like a fast track to really gaining quick experience.
Yeah, I think the agency life is definitely different, definitely more fast paced,
Mhm.
but we've definitely heard from past guests who kind of have that same experience of just it's the best way to kind of jump in and learn the most.
Yep.
I'm also curious, Sam. So sometimes I've talked to women who are trying to move to another city. They know they want to go somewhere else, but sometimes they have a fear that maybe jobs don't want to consider them because it's going to take them time to move or for whatever reason, they may prefer to just hire someone that's already living in that city. Do you have any advice for someone who's applying to jobs in another state and trying to move and like how they should talk about it in interviews or if they should adjust their LinkedIn or their resume or anything like that?
I think now there's more opportunities that they're allowing the position to be remote. However, I feel like if you're really dedicated, like for me, so I was interviewing, I was in the interview process. Nothing was actually set in stone yet, but I was interviewing for 6 months at least. And
Oh my
I
gosh.
set myself a date. I said, by the end of the year, or actually it was Halloween. That was my deadline. I set myself a deadline, and I said, I'm going to take the leap of faith and move out to LA, regardless if I have a job lined up or not. Then I got the job offer with the agency, and I moved on Halloween 2.5 years ago. So
Oh my gosh.
I set that goal for myself, and it fell in place, the job offer. So I feel like if you just really trust the process, and make it happen, and you're putting in the work, you're interviewing, it will all fall into place.
Yes, I love that.
Mhm.
So it took you 6 months of interviewing to get the role. Was that because the
The
interview
process.
processes are just so long?
I think that the process, the timeline of more doing my research, updating my portfolio,
Mhm.
and really making a dream list. So I wrote out all the companies that I really loved in the wellness space, the marketing space, whether that was a small startup company up to someone that's been around for a while. So I
Mhm.
think just the process of the research, starting the interviews, that whole process took about like 4 to 6 months.
Wow. Wow. I'm also glad you're saying that because I think sometimes there's a lot of urgency we place on ourselves when we want to make a switch is like it has to happen quickly or else it's not meant to be.
Mhm.
And for you taking longer also got you in a place where you felt really happy with the role that you took and not feeling forced to take something that wasn't on your list or that didn't fulfill the goals that you had set for yourself.
Exactly. Trust the process. You never know where it can lead you. And sometimes too, it's just a stepping stone. So we're never ever commit, like we're never stuck somewhere. So I think even if you're like, hey, this is not the exact role that I want, not even the exact salary that I want, it's just really trusting the process of, oh, does this company offer me growth down the line? Sometimes you have to just grind it out for a period of time. Of course, like don't like make sure it's not like a horrible toxic environment, but if you're like, hey, I can grind this out, it's going to be an incredible learning experience, incredible connections, and it's going to get me to the city that I want to be in, say it's LA, New York, any major city. At least just trust the process and go there and then see what unfolds truly.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. Okay. Glad we got to talk about this topic because I think it's something that a lot of people are considering or may want to consider moving somewhere new. Um, Tell me a little bit about what happened next. So you started here at this freelance role, then where did you go after that?
So I got the job with the agency and I was working with all health and wellness brands. Erewhon was actually one of our clients. So we did activations at Coachella, Stagecoach. We were doing influencer marketing, pop-ups in LA, DC, New York for our clients, everything that you can imagine in experiential, then also digital marketing too. So it was really amazing learning to manage multiple clients at once. And also was able to travel, which is amazing. I love traveling. From there, I left the agency after a little over a year, and I was building up my own portfolio with a couple clients on my own, was freelancing. And then from there is when Erewhon actually reached out. They had an opportunity on the social marketing team. So I joined Erewhon a little over a year and a half ago now. And then I transferred to the brand partnerships team. So I've been under the VP who created the collaboration smoothies that have
Oh
been
my
taking
gosh.
over the world, basically. So now I'm on the brand partnerships team. So that kind of just shows the process and the different stages of marketing. You have experiential event side, you have influencer marketing, you have digital marketing. There's so many. Marketing is a huge term and there's so many different avenues and so many different layers to marketing. So that's also the fun of it too, is you can really learn a full any kind of marketing that you want truly.
Yes, it is so broad. And that's also one of the
It's
things
so broad.
I
Mhm.
love about the podcast is even for me, some of the roles or of guests that I interview is like I didn't even know like the full
It
extent of what that
existed,
meant.
right?
Yes.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
is there's so much you can do and it's always fun hearing about kind of where everyone finds their niche within marketing.
And
And
everyone's journey to marketing, you never know where it's going to
yes,
lead you truly.
yes, yes, yeah, you never know. So it's always fun. It's always fun talking and hearing when you share your story. Looking back on it, all the pieces make sense, but sometimes when you're in the middle of it, it really doesn't. Like you're like, I don't know what's happening or where am I going next or what's going on.
100%. That's like a life rule.
Yes, yes. And then you look back and you're like, okay, everything happened for a reason and it was all meant to be.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
So tell me about what a day or a week in your life looks like at Erewhon as the brand partnership manager.
Of course. So every day, there's always something exciting happening at Erewhon. Our office is downtown LA, which is also our warehouse. So it's really cool to see the whole 360 experience from where products are coming in and out. My team, like I mentioned, we're the partnership cares team. So the smoothie collaborations, the pressed juice collaborations, and then I manage the lifestyle collective. So it's 25 amazing wellness brands in our membership community. So as a member, we have over 40,000 members at Erewhon, 10 stores now, which is amazing. We just opened Pasadena, 11 stores coming probably in 2025. So stay tuned
Exciting.
on that.
Come to Austin next. We need one here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, everyone is saying New York, Austin, Scottsdale, all the
Yeah.
places. So it will be in California. That's a little insider tip.
Ooh,
So stay
exciting.
tuned. So my day-to-day is outreach. So reaching out to a ton of different wellness brands, whether it's in our current partners, we have APL, Aloe, Stay a While, which are these high-end properties. We have Grand Wailea, which is a beautiful property in Hawaii. So and Therabody, all these amazing brands. So part of my day, I spend outreach, finding new brands to join our collective, scheduling meetings with our current collective, planning events, planning quarterly community events in stores, and then also managing our Premier Cares brand. So it's a lot of account management. It's a lot of brainstorming, new events and partnerships, working with our current partners, and then also finding new partners to join our collective.
Wow. So a lot of relationships.
Exactly. A lot
Yeah.
of community, a lot of relationships,
Mhm.
connecting a lot of other brands and kind of creating experiences that we can. So we have events in stores that I plan quarterly. So that's a great way for our collective brands and also vendors that we sell in store to come experience our community. It's like a big demo party. So we have a DJ, we have our culinary team that gives out bites from the hot bar, the tonic bar. So it's a super fun experience that we have once per quarter.
It's super interesting hearing about how Erewhon approaches partnerships because most grocery stores don't do anything like that, right? They're not
Right.
doing partnerships. They're not
Exactly.
having a community, right? Your normal grocery store does not have a community that they're building. And so it sounds really exciting to hear all the different partnerships that you're able to work in and that you're still in that wellness space, which I know is what you mentioned that you really loved, and you're just kind of getting to do it in this different channel and this new avenue. When you're working with partners or kind of how do you approach the partner strategy or kind of what you're looking for when you're trying to find a new wellness partner or how they kind of fit into your partnership brand strategy?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's really one part is exploration and trend. So what's a new product? Like for example, the LED face masks, like that's super hot right now. A sauna box, like pop-up sauna box. So it's really being ahead of the curve, but then it's also we want to connect with our community that's already familiar with, say, Therabody, the massage guns, or the new product that would be new to our consumer that's really excited. So it really ranges so far, or for like our high-end hotels that we have. It's when our community and customers are traveling, we want to create that Erewhon experience so it feels like home too.
Yeah. And how much, like, so you're building all these different partnerships, which
Mhm.
again is super rare. And I think also how so many people know Erewhon, even if they're not even in California, a lot of it is through the smoothies. I know you guys did,
Exactly.
was it Balenciaga? Was that?
Yes, we did a
Yes.
press juice with Balenciaga. We just launched our Giselle Derberry with Giselle, who is such
Yes.
an icon. We have a lot of really exciting collaborations coming up, especially for Valentine's Day in just a few weeks. So lots of incredible collabs and partnerships that we really value and align with Erewhon. And we also really want to encompass a wide range. So that's the beauty of Erewhon and the brand is really it's so relatable, and we're really creating an experience, and we're creating collabs that have never been done before, especially for a grocery store. So it really just shows the value and the impact of Erewhon. We're just based in LA, but we're a global brand. So amazing to be a part of someone's itinerary when they come to visit LA.
Yes, I was gonna say when I went back home
Mhm.
a year ago to go visit my family, and they're in Huntington,
Yeah.
who's in Orange County. My sister and I, my mom, my sister and I all drove up, went to LA, went to Erewhon. We're like, we have to try the
Yep.
smoothies. I think at that time it was the blue cloud one, or whatever the blue one was,
Mhm.
like the first,
Mariana's, yep. Yep.
and then the Haley Bieber one was the
Of
second one. So
course.
we got both of those ones. They were delicious.
Of course, they're so good. There's always something new to try, and our culinary team is truly the best of the best, using the best, of course, organic ingredients, and always, producing new dishes. So it's never boring. There's always something exciting at Erewhon. Yeah, and each store too has their own personality, which is really fun.
What's your favorite collaboration that you've gotten to work on at Erewhon?
Ooh, that is a great question. We I would say, I mean, they're all so special and so unique. I feel really grateful to be able to meet the talent, incredible celebrities. We launched Olivia Rodrigo, and everyone has been so amazing to work with and has really created content that reflects them and who they are. So it's really fun, whether it's the flavors and the smoothies or incorporating brands like we just launched with Gaia Herbs. So it's really, I don't know if I have one favorite truly. They're all so exciting and so unique. I think we created an experience at Coachella last year with Revolve. That was really cool. We did a mini pop-up. We were at Soho House the year before. So it's really cool to go somewhere like in Palm Springs where people from all over the world are there and they see Erewhon, or they see like an opportunity to grab the Erewhon tote and grab the products that we carry, the best CPG products and brands and snacks and drinks. So it's really cool to see the excitement of that, in a place that's outside of California, or sorry, LA, and really just see everyone get so pumped, so excited to see Erewhon.
Yeah, it's very exciting, I think, to see kind of where Erewhon will grow because you're right, like everyone already knows about it and it's only an LA grocery chain, which is absolutely insane.
Yep,
Okay.
Erewhon to the moon.
You can't give me your favorite club, then at least tell me the smoothie that you order the most often.
Ooh, okay. So my favorite is the maca bomb. I love it so much. And I also add a shot of espresso in there. It's so, so, so delicious. It's not a fruity smoothie. It has banana, and then of course I add the espresso. It has maca bomb. It's basically going to give you all the energy in the world. And it has dates in there. It's so delicious. Second is the turmeric crush. Have you had it?
No, I haven't had either of those. So I'm going to add them to my list next time I'm there.
Yes, maca bomb and turmeric crush. You have to try it.
Okay.
And then of course our pressed juices I love so much.
Yes. Okay. On my list for next time. So, Sam, we've gone through, so I know you're here at Erewhon and you're working with their events and partnerships, but tell me a little bit about Hype Girl Club, how you started it, and kind of what you're doing with that.
Yes, of course. So Hype Girl Club has been this incredible organic movement that has built here in LA. So it started back in February of last year, of just a couple of my friends and I. We all are in the wellness space, and we met at 7:30 on a Wednesday. We're like Walk Wednesday. Like it just makes sense. Let's start our day midweek with getting together, just movement, sunshine, coffee, and walking by the water. Also at my favorite coffee spot in LA, which is Cafe Lux. So that really evolved over a couple months. One day was, oh, can I bring my friend? Can I bring my friend? And it evolved to almost 20 girls that showed up at 7:30 on a Wednesday. So it really opened my eyes to how everyone is craving community, especially this group of girls who are super supportive, who are in the marketing field, who are managing their own clients, or they're founders, they are young founders in the CPG space, whatever it might be. I was really catching on to how impactful this group was. So then I coined the term Hype Girl Club, is really hyping each other up. And then I launched my first event at Still Life, which is in Venice, one of my favorite spots. There, it's a beautiful space for breath work, yoga, movement. They have a membership that they just started. that you learn from Jim, who is an iconic human. You learn all about breath work, you learn about human relationships, all the things and skills. So just they're up to amazing things in Venice. So that was my first event, and I had over 50 girls show up, which was
Oh my
insane.
gosh.
We met there. We had a lot of goodies from Aloe, a lot of drinks, coffee, snacks, and we started with a walk. And then we started with the meditation and did sauna and cold plunging. So that was amazing. And so that was back in, I think that was like 6 months ago now. And I've launched an event every month.
Oh
And then
my
I do
gosh.
one community walk as well.
How are you doing all of this? That is
I know.
insane.
It's been so fun. I mean, it just truly lights me up creating a community like this. And hearing from girls, thank you so much for this event. Like I've met the best girls and I've met the best. I've had so many like success stories. Like my friend who I met through the Hype Girl Club just hired another girl that she met for her agency. And then I've had my photographer friends meet models up for their shoots, and it's just been truly this incredible networking group. And it's amazing to hear all these stories of my friends that own their own brands that are just getting started or who started 2 years ago. It's been just so great to hear their stories, and when they thank me, like I really, that is motivation to keep going and to keep creating these events, and that how powerful a community can truly be.
What do you think? So you're having so much success here with Hype Girl Club. Obviously, Erewhon is really successful in the community building space. What do you
Mhm.
think is, I don't know, the secret sauce or what is really essential to building a strong community where, you get to share testimonials like that of all of these connections happening because not every community is that strong.
Mhm. I think since it really just grew organically, like it started with my friends, and then from there, it's just really, it was a ripple effect. And I think it was like, oh, my friend wants to join. And then it just really grew and grew and grew. And then we posted a couple TikToks. My friend Nicole did a TikTok that went kind of viral, and I think that just is proof that everyone is really looking for a genuine group of girls to connect with, especially if you just move to LA, the influencer space could be intimidating. So really wanted to create a group and community where you feel comfortable, you can come alone and just meet girls that are super supportive. And I think just really trusting that, and it'll grow organically. So for me, I love community, I love wellness, I love events. And then also my experience with brand partnerships is bringing in brands that I love and brands that I believe in to create an experience where you're going to meet new people, you're going to have fun, you're going to feel, you're going to feel fulfilled after. And so I think just like really believing in that and trusting the process for each event, each post that you do on social, whatever it is just like trusting that process, and it will grow over time.
What is your process for creating an event, or kind of how do you think about putting together a
Mhm.
an event that is going to be successful or that is going to be, build your community up?
Definitely. So I think first, how I come up with the event or activation is if I want to follow a theme. Like, for example, Valentine's Day is coming up. So I'm working on a Galentine's event. So that's like the theme. Then
Mhm.
from there, it's the space. So am I going to find a local space here in LA? Like, for example, Still Life, or I just did one last weekend at New Bar, which is also female owned, and she launched 2 years ago. And it's a non-alc space, really fun, really trendy, fun branding. And it just aligns with Hype Girl Club and my branding and the community of supporting females, just cool girls doing amazing things. So it's really, so that I would say the theme, the space, venue, you could even call some friends if you don't have budget necessarily for a venue. It's okay. Like, calling your connections. Can I use your backyard? It's just really getting creative with the space, or even coming up with an exchange. Like I'll give you content, I'll give you professional videos or TikToks, whatever it might be in exchange. I think it's just really getting creative. And then thirdly, it's how many people can come and what brand partnerships do we want to bring in. So whether it's, I always think of the senses. So what are we drinking? Like, what are we eating? What is the vibe? It's really curating the vibe. That's really important. Like, for example, I had little journals for journal intention setting, and I printed Hype Girl Club stickers. So it really is just thinking through the details. I'm like a really big detail person. So those are the main things. And then from there, it's just coming up with the micro lists and micro to-dos. For events, it's super important to be highly organized, and don't ever feel bad for asking for friend support too.
Yeah, I'm glad you walked us through all of that because it's fun to hear the behind the scenes of what goes
Yeah,
into an event. And I think especially this is a really fun space that you're in and that you're being a part of. And even starting your own thing, that is so, so, so impressive to be able to do that on top of doing your full-time job and then also building a community. That is not an easy thing to do. So like what an incredible thing that you've accomplished with that.
thank you. Thank you so much.
And I also want to hear about on top of that, you're even doing more stuff. So tell me about I Want to Pick Your Braid and why you started that and what you're doing there.
Yes, so I want to pick your brain. We had our very first event. So I want to pick your brain was just born. And my dear friend Sydney, who's also part of our Hype Girl Club group. So she is an incredible human, has a great story. She started her own business, French Squirrel. So it's incredible products so she's also a business owner. And she started French Squirrel, and my other friend Anna also owns Akasha Superfoods, which is an incredible sea moss company. Definitely check it out. So a lot of our friends, and like I mentioned, are CPG founders, they're entrepreneurs, and they kept saying it's almost this joke of everyone is reaching out to, I want to pick your brain. Hey, can I get coffee with you? Can we schedule some time? I want to pick your brain and learn about your experience. And they had screenshots and screenshots and screenshots, and they were kind of in this position of, we would love to meet with these people, like we're very honored, where it's flattering that we're getting everyone wants to pick our brain, but at the same time, like, how do you schedule all the time in? So
Mhm.
my friend Sydney came to me and she's like, hey, like, I really want to create an in-person experience where I can offer my advice. I can share my story of how I got started with creating my own business, and offer that space so everyone can actually come and pick my brain in person. So we were on the floor of her apartment and we were brainstorming. And I said, okay, like, we need to call this. She's like, I want to create an in-person panel. She said, and I want you to interview everyone. And I said, okay, absolutely. Like, I'm down. And we were thinking, I'm like, we have to call this, I want to pick your brain. Like, we need to just run with the slogan and kind of be playful with it, because we all ask it. We all want to learn from others. We want to pick their brain. And then when we get asked it, we kind of, so it just makes you feel like you're playing on the whole slogan of it. So we really just took it and ran with it. So we had our first panel um back in October, and we're planning our second panel next month in February. So the first panel was CPG founders that are actually all sold in Erewhon, which is really cool. And our next panel will be for creators and influencers. So it'll be really great to learn how to get started in influencer marketing, how to create content, how to monetize it. So we're super excited to build this.
That is amazing. I think there's such a need for that. And I love what you're doing too, because you're absolutely right. I think right now people are really craving in-person community.
Person, yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I
Mhm.
think with COVID and Sky Society, especially, we grew so much online, which is amazing. And I love that what an online community brings because you get to
Mhm.
connect with people all over the country or even all over the world. But there's
Mhm.
still this need for us wanting to be in person, and you cannot replicate what it's like to actually be face to face and be in that environment and have that energy around you. So I love what you're doing, and especially around women or just around self-improvement or kind of going back to your title Hype Girl Club of just trying to
Mhm.
be the best versions of everyone's self. And it sounds like you put together an amazing community in both of those spaces. So you got three things that you are running and managing, which is amazing.
Thank you so much. And that just really ties in to, our the beginning of our conversation is that you really never know what can come of it. Just really trust the process and follow your instinct, follow your passions, and you never know what can really build out of it. It can be a brand, it could be a one-time pop-up experience, and you just never know where it could really evolve. So just keep going, truly learn from other people that are doing the things you really admire. um be bold, truly, reach out to people and just grow your community, whatever that community might look like.
I love that advice. I think that there's a lot of young women that would love to have a career similar to yours or to be in the community space or be in the event management space. If you have any advice for someone that, is younger and wants to start their career here and wants to switch into this industry, is there anything that you think that they should work on or they should do to kind of get started?
I think, with marketing, it is so broad. So I think an agency is super amazing to learn. You learn so much. It's a fast track. Or you can go the route of, like I said, is to list out your favorite brands or brands that you admire, your dream brands, make a list of them, do your research, study who's in the roles, like stalk them on LinkedIn, stalk them on social, and also building your own brand, I think is crucial. Getting over the fear of posting in front of the camera, it can be intimidating, and that's okay. But just start, because now that's your portfolio. So I think really building up your online presence is huge. Secondly, I would just start somewhere and you're never stuck. So whether it's starting with a social media coordinator role or starting in events, like even just getting started, whether it's shadowing someone, internships are always amazing, such great learning experiences. And then from there, you never know where your path is going to lead you. But I think just starting, building up your own brand, building up your own online presence is definitely like somewhere where to start.
And that also reminds me, there's so many questions I want to ask you because we've covered so many things. But one thing I did want to ask you, because you
Yeah.
mentioned a couple of times in the episode, was about your portfolio and you building your portfolio. That is something that I also really encourage young, or just honestly anyone within the industry to do, is to kind of showcase the results that you have. Any
Mhm.
advice or tips there when it comes to building your portfolio?
Yeah, I think so. I built my first website through Square and I didn't know what I was doing. I just looked on YouTube. You can really teach yourself and you honestly will surprise yourself, I think, once you actually do it. That's one route, just learning yourself, just trusting like, hey, I'm gonna take on this challenge. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm gonna try. From there, just ask your network, ask your friends if you're in college, like ask your resources, like look around at who's already doing it. People love helping out, like they really do. So I think just starting, just doing. There's Canva now. Canva's so amazing. You can create slides and turn it into a website. So there's really no back end of building a website, paying for a website. You can actually do it through Canva. Like that's so amazing. Um, I think the portfolio is bigger, having a solid resume, of course, and then your online presence. So start posting your content, start showing your day-to-day life, and that's also another form of your experience.
Yeah, I think we forget about that personal brand piece, and so I love that you're
Yes,
bringing it
so
up.
crucial.
And
Mhm.
I think especially if you want to work in social media or in this community space, I even know in a lot of applications they even ask for your Instagram
What your
now.
handle is, yeah,
Yeah, so and you're right, there is this huge fear of like, of starting to post like, and sharing way more of your life. I know I also need to work on that because I
same. I'm like giving the advice, but I'm also telling myself because I completely agree too.
it's
But
so
it's
hard.
so important.
So like I told you, we're having our Austin event for Sky Society tonight, and
So
I'm making all
exciting.
these like goodie bags, and I have all this planning stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I know I should like film a TikTok or like do some behind the scenes content, but like that just seems like so much extra work
No,
on top
do it,
of what
Natalie.
I'm
You
already
just got to
doing.
record. You have to just
Uh,
record, even if it's a week later, just have the content and just record everything. Just look back too. I think for myself when I'm like, oh, I don't want to show my face. I don't want to post my day to day. It's really dedicating even like 30 minutes a day and just remembering like you're documenting your life. Like it's really not that serious. You're doing it for, the younger generation, for someone that's like looking up to you. You're doing it for when you look back on your own life, you're just documenting. So it's kind of removing that pressure of this has to be so perfect. Like people will actually resonate more with like more organic, authentic content versus something that's so curated and so edited.
Yes, I agree. I agree. I just need to take the action.
We'll have to hold each other accountable then.
We really
We'll
will.
check in like two weeks and see how
Yes.
far we've gotten.
Yes. Ask us to see each other's event content and that
Yep.
we're actually sharing the behind the scenes because yeah,
Mhm.
it is important. And even if you're, like I know we're each building our own brands, but even if it's just your personal brand and it's like the behind the scenes of
Mhm.
your work or your job.
Your
I even
life.
was like marketing. This is what I do as my marketing internship, or this is what I do at my marketing job. Like all that stuff, I think you're absolutely right, is an investment in your brand, in your future self, and into helping you be able to find, another opportunity or ask for more money or just kind of be a higher level applicant or just kind of advance in your career. So
Mhm.
we're all going to hold
Exactly.
each other accountable.
Yep. And views and likes doesn't matter. Like it's really about just putting the content out there. You never know who's going to see it and be inspired or be encouraged from it or learn something from it or just be entertained by it. So it's
Yeah.
it's easier said than done, but it's just remembering that it's not that serious.
I one so for Sky Society on TikTok, that was a huge way that we grew was just through me creating TikToks about marketing advice and stuff. And I was scrolling back and looking like when I first started creating TikToks and just I look back, I'm like, they were so bad. Like they got maybe like 300 views. Like it was just, and I really did not like doing it, but I was like, okay, now like you have to, like everyone's here on TikTok. And then now it's so much easier now that I've been doing it for a while. But when I started, like there weren't any views. People weren't really watching, but it also didn't really matter. Like once I started doing it, then I realized like, okay, this is
Yeah,
a
and it's fun to look back too and be like,
yes,
okay, I'm here
yes.
now. Like, look back at your growth because in the moment, sometimes we don't see it. We don't recognize, like, okay, like this is going to be worth it. And even if it doesn't, go viral or pop off, like, it's fine. Like, it'll be okay. It's like, it's not that serious. And at least it's documented and you can look back and like laugh at it or whatever it is. Or just admire like your growth of how far you've come.
That is the best part. I love getting the like 1 year ago, even in your iPhone now that's starting to do that, where it's like 1 year
The
ago.
slideshow. Yeah.
Yes, I love getting the iPhone slideshows.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't want that included in that memory, please.
Or if like an ex shows up in one of the slides,
Yeah, something
like,
creeps
oops.
up. I'm like, let's delete that. Let's remove that. Everything else is just really great, but
But yeah, that's also a really good way to look at it as well. So, um, okay, Sam, well, we've covered so much today. This has been so much fun just getting to pick your brain about what you're doing and the amazing
see,
things.
there you go. You used it. I love it.
Pick your brain, yes. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I feel like I'm sure you guys are doing this, but now I gotta like keep that sticker or something or just remember because that's such
Yes,
a good name for a brand.
you got it. I'll send you some stickers. Send you some goodies. Or you should just come to LA for our panel.
I know.
February 24th.
I need to come back out to LA too. My family is always, since I live in Austin, I feel like I go back a lot, but they're always like, it's never enough. You got to keep coming. So yes, I will try to make it out there. But thank
No, I
you
feel like
again.
we could keep talking for hours and hours.
I know. Like this is my favorite part of the podcast though, is that sometimes it does turn out like this. And especially since you and I have so many overlaps with what we're building, it's even more fun to talk about what we're each doing. So I love it.
Definitely. And I love what you're creating. This is so special. I wish I had this 10 years ago, when I was just starting my career, lost, not knowing what I wanted to do, but it's really just trusting that inner voice. And even if you don't know what is going on, what you don't feel as confident, just trust that nudge and truly you don't know what could happen. I used to come to Erewhon 2016, 2015, and I would walk around and I just had this feeling like, oh, I love this grocery store. I even had pictures like of the flowers, and now fast forward, 8 years, 7 years later, and now I'm working on the team. So it's really wild to you just don't know what's going to unfold, what's going to happen. So just like trust the process. And it's cool. And even this experience, like I'm on your podcast, like this is so cool. And I love the community that you're building. I can't wait to hear about your event tonight. And I'm excited for what's to come.
Thank you, Sam. It was so fun talking to you. Thanks again for coming on the podcast.
Of course. Thank you so much, Natalie. Can't wait for more.